This is Star News.
All right, folks. This is a show a lot of folks have been waiting for. We've been talking about this for some time, and also our folks in Reedsville, Danville, and surrounding area joining us here live at the studios in Martinsville. With us, we've got Malvester Dixon, who is going to be discussing some things about the different aspects of religion pertaining to, I guess, the Muslim faith or
This book right here.
the Holy Bible, King James Version.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
that's something I was going to ask you about. One of the first questions I
King
wanted to ask
James
you about.
version, authorized version.
Authorized version.
Yeah.
And of course we got Johnny Robinson, and Johnny Robinson has was normally you're seeing him from Reedsville live at this time, and this is going to be set up as somewhat like a little debate, and we're going to try to inquire and kind of look into some of the different aspects of the different religions and the different aspects of it. And basically how it's going to work, Johnny's going to open up with about 10 minutes of conversation of some things that he wants to talk about. Then Malvester will reply for 10 minutes, and we'll kind of go back and forth. And then I'll ask a few questions. We'll give a chance for maybe some folks call in if they got some specific questions of interest that pertain to what we're talking about. And that's really the differences between the religion. And that's what we're talking about tonight.
Well, I'm actually going to be presenting information that I think people don't even know about
Right.
in the religion. I think Malvester may be putting out his view of Christianity. Everybody else already has their view of Christianity. I think Islam is basically an unknown religion. I mean, most people didn't even know about Islam really until, we had the issue with 9/11, which I'm not tying them to that at all. I'm just saying all of a sudden, spotlight, boom.
Well, is the Nation of Islam, is that the same as the Muslim religion, or is that different?
Well, the Nation of Islam is a new, we are a new Islam, really. But I really want to talk about what did the Bible say. That's your program. That's what I
Well, the
want to
thing
talk
is, Malvester,
What
we
did
get to
the
talk
Bible
about
say?
what you want to talk about during your 10 minutes, and I get to talk about
Okay.
what I want to in my 10
All
minutes.
right, we're already getting started. I tell you what we're going to do, folks. We'll take a quick break. I think that we're going to let Johnny come on first for 10 minutes, and then Malvester respond, and then we go from there.
Okay.
And it's going to be an interesting program. Glad y'all are here. I want to thank y'all for coming. I really do. Appreciate it.
I've been looking forward to it for nearly 10 years. Nearly 10 years. Good to see you on the set.
Well, if I promised you that about 10 years ago, and now I want to make my word bond, so that's why I'm here. But if not, I would have waited longer to deal with it. But since I gave you my word, and the Quran say, why would a person say something and don't do it? Allah hate that. So I had to come
Well, the
forth
Bible
and do
says in
that.
2 Peter 3:9 that God's not slack concerning his promises, men count slackness. And so I didn't think you were slack, Malvester, just because 10 years had passed.
Right.
I figured you'd come sooner or later. Things would get turned around.
Well, you know what? We here.
All right.
Praise
All right,
the
folks,
Lord.
we're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Back live here at the studios, News Channel 18, Martinsville, and reaching out to the folks there in Reedsville, Danville, and surrounding area. And we're going to be talking about some of the different aspects of religion between the Nation of Islam and Christianity. And with that, we'll let Johnny Robinson, we're going to go with 10 minutes, and Johnny has some things he wants to talk about. Johnny?
All right. I appreciate the station here doing this. I think in case everybody's not aware of it, this debate would not have taken place had it not been for Channel 18 bringing this opportunity to you. I had made the challenge to Malvester. Actually, I'll take it back. In 2000, this is a picture of the Million Man March. That had just taken place, and they were talking about having the second Million Man March. And a friend of mine called Malvester up when he was talking with Kip Wallace. I've showed that over and over here on Channel 6 then. And he told Malvester that he wanted to know, did he believe in Islam? And he said he did, 110%. And so the gentleman's name was Ronnie. He said, well, would you be willing to discuss with my preacher? And Malvester said, anywhere, anytime. And so the gentleman said, well, okay, I'm going to call him up. And so he asked Ronnie, he said, well, what if your preacher doesn't want to do it? Ronnie said, if he doesn't want to do it, I'll come out of that church and become a Muslim. So everybody had a good laugh, and I called up immediately after that and talked to Malvester and Kip, and this basically has been scheduled from that time frame. And so Tonight, what I want to say in the beginning, I think is going to shock some individuals. I'd like to play something that actually took place around that same time frame, and let's hear this.
Have respect for him now, and thanks even for him for standing up to Malfester with the Word of God. Because true enough, Johnny, or the pastor there, knows the Word of God. And I'm thankful for his knowledge of the Word of God to bring it forth to someone like Malfester, who I've heard twist and abuse the Word of God. If you don't read the Word of God, don't quote the Word of God.
But if I were to say to you that you were to look at a, let's say, a Jackson.
Kip goes on and makes his own argument. I'd like to say tonight that I'm not standing up to Malvester, and I'm certainly not standing up for the lady who called in almost 10 years ago. I believe that the individuals in this area have ostracized and demonstrated to me, as well as what I've heard them say to Malvester, that they do not care about what the Bible says. And so tonight, even though I gained that lady's respect back in 2001, I may lose it tonight, and I wasn't really looking for her respect in the first place. What I'm looking for is the truth, and I want to present to the community this evening that the truth isn't being taught in the churches around here. I believe one of the reasons why we have the Nation of Islam, in my opinion, as a person who tries to study it, I've read one of Malvester's prophets' books, Elijah Muhammad, A Message to the Black Man. I'm going to refer to it several times during this discussion. I've also read the autobiography or the biography of Alex Haley of Malcolm X. And from what I can see in these writings is that one of the things that has caused the growth and the great excitement amongst the black community having to do with the Nation of Islam has to do with the false teaching on race that's been going on in the churches for the last, I don't know how many years to put on it, maybe 200, 250 years. I believe that tonight, if we submit to Christ, now Malvester can correct me if I'm wrong on this, I believe the meaning of Muslim is a person who completely submits to Allah. I believe that if we truly submitted to Christ, we would not need the Nation of Islam, and the problem that we have in these churches is persons haven't submitted to Christ anyway. We have the most segregated day of the week every single Sunday, and all the churches around here, they gather up by race, by culture, and we continue to have that. And I know from the Bible that I'm reading, the true Jesus of the Bible has absolutely nothing to do with that. And so I would encourage Malvester, and that's what I'm trying to do in this discussion, rather than drive a wedge between us immediately, my basic plea to Malvester and the Nation of Islam in this area is to encourage you to investigate the Church of Christ. We have zero, absolutely zero, to do with the denominations in this area. We do not teach the same thing they do. We don't hold the Bible the way they hold it. We're completely different, and the church where we assemble, 823 Starling Avenue, actually represents the racial divide percentage-wise in this community. I think, I could be wrong, but I think the percentage in this community in Martinsville and Henry County is somewhere between 40 and 60%, 40% black and 60% white. The congregation that I am a preacher in represents that demographic very closely. The last preacher we had was a white man married to a black woman. And so we're saying that we're putting our preaching into practice. And I want to state that in the very beginning. And, it may cause a lot of people to say, well, you know what, I'm tuning this guy out. I thought he was going to come on and just try to ride roughshod over Malvester and the Nation of Islam. I'm not. I am going to try to be hard on the doctrine that they teach tonight, but at the same time, I'm not trying to gain anyone's respect in the, quote, Christian arena around here. And so how are we keeping time?
About 4 minutes.
Okay. Let me just begin with a couple of pieces of information that I think persons need to know if we can go up to our graphic. One of the things that Elijah Muhammad, who is one of the purported main prophets of the Nation of Islam, I believe that he received his message, claimed that he received his message from another individual, and I may pronounce some of their names wrong, but this gentleman's name was Master Farad Muhammad, and Elijah Muhammad stayed with him for 3 years as his student, and he got the information supposedly straight from God, from Allah, and then he wrote a book, maybe more than one book. The one that I've really keyed in on is The Message to the Black Man. And in it says the problem with America is the preachers of Christianity. The greatest fear and greatest problems is the preachers of Christianity. You can drop that for a minute. You know what? I agree with that 100%. I agree that the preachers in this area and that in the United States are the great problem that we're having in regard to race, culture, peace, the whole bit. A couple of days ago, I was in the post office, and I do this on a regular basis. These preachers already know this about me. I do not talk to anybody unless I have a tape recorder. And I called Early Dillard, who I've been trying to catch for literally years. I called him in the post office, and I had a discussion with him about something that I have just brought up in regard to the division. And I don't play favorites. I'm on the white churches just as much as I am the black churches. It just so happened that I was running into Early Dillard that day. I have done in the past 2 weeks some investigation. I hate to say it that way, but somebody needs to investigate and expose what's going on in these churches. And I happened to meet with Michael Penn not too long ago, and this is going to build up to what Early Dillard said. Michael Penn told me that anybody who teaches tithing, that you're going to go to hell if you don't tithe, is actually unscriptural, and it's not according to the Bible, and he doesn't agree with that. Well, it just so happened that I had my television on 2 weeks later, and Mark Price comes on, who's in another church here in town, and he says you're going to hell if you don't tithe. Well, I knew that Early Dillard had just had Mark Price in his church. And I also knew what they all went through. They went through a ritual. It was pastor's anniversary, and Mark Price is not about to get Early Dillard's money. So Early Dillard had a table for his people. When they came by the collection plate, they put the money in Early Dillard's plate, and anybody that followed Mark Price over there came to Mark Price's table, and they put the money in Mark Price's table. So, we're going to keep this money. That's the main thing now. We're going to keep this money apart. And so I asked Early Dillard, I said, what did you think about this information that I presented, how that these two guys who are actually together on a regular basis actually are opposing each other on a very prominent doctrine? His response, and I have it on tape, is I don't get into that. I don't get into doctrine. I don't get into what one of these other religions teach. I'm just trying to, get to heaven, get my way out of here. Therein lies the problem. And what really is at the bottom of the problem is the money. These folks are saying, I'm not going to get into what Mark Price is doing, and I'm not going to get into what Michael Penn is doing, lest I make some of their family members who attend at my church mad, and all of them get mad and leave. And so, not too long ago, I actually held a video or a audio recording for about 4 years of something that Darnell Carter said. And folks who are listening, many of you know Darnell Carter. His brother is discussing with me right now. Darnell said that the reason why all of this stuff was going on, now Darnell is in a different religion too. He's actually in Geno Jennings' religion, which is opposed to all the religions around here too. Darnell said it's basically a game that they're playing. He said it's just like the game that's being played on the street between the rappers and the drug persons. He said it's just moved over into organized religion. I agree with that. And therein lies the problem. The good old boys are up in the churches. They run the county from inside the churches. If you want to get close to one of the good old boys, you've got to get in the right church that he's in. And nobody is really interested in teaching what Jesus says about our fellow man. And so I want to say to Malvester tonight that even though I'm going to have to oppose some of the things that Elijah Muhammad says, because I don't believe they're accurate, nor Muhammad that they're accurate, it is not a personal attack on him. It is that I believe that the presentation of Jesus that he has gotten from this community and maybe from his upbringing is not the Jesus that I serve. I serve a Jesus that is totally different, and I want to present that information to you tonight.
All right, we appreciate that. We're going to take a break, folks. We'll be right back. And with Malvester's response, stay with us. Back live here at Studios News Channel 18, and for our viewers there in North Carolina and Danville, thank you for joining us. And now we're going to hear a response with Malvester Dixon, and I think Kevin's going to read us some scriptures too.
Yes, sir.
So I'll let you respond.
Okay. All praise is due forever for Allah for coming in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. And we thank him over and over for the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, the firstborn of the dead. And we thank him for the honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, the spirit of truth that's in our midst today. I like to respond to some of the things that Johnny said. He said that because of people deviating, that's why the nation started. And I say God never sent a prophet or a messenger unless something wrong. So something had to be wrong for him to send a messenger. And that's why Master Farad Muhammad came. And I want to deal with the coming of God. And in the Genesis, the 15th chapter, the 5th verse down to the 13th verse, I want you to read that for him.
All right. And he brought him forth abroad and said, Look toward heaven, and tell thee stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall they see be. And he believed in the Lord, and accounted it to him for his righteousness. And he said unto him, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of the Chaldees, to give thee this land to inherit it. And he said, Lord God, whereby shall I know that I shall inherit it? And he said unto him, Take me on heifer, or of 3 years old, and a she-goat of 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove, and a young pigeon. And he took unto him all these, and divided them into the midst, and laid each piece one against another. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowls came down upon the carcasses, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram. And lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
Okay, this is where Abraham had seen that a people that was going to be taken to a strange land, and they would serve a strange people for 400 years, and then afterwards he would come. God said he would come, not that he would send a messenger or a prophet. He would come, and then we would come out in great substance and live to be in a great good old age. And then I want to deal with Matthew 24th chapter 27. What I'm trying to do is show you the promise that God made to Abraham, that he would come after his seed after 400 years of slavery in a strange land. And I'm talking about us as black people that was brought into North America and was enslaved for 400 and now for 51 years that we've been here. And I want to show you where the scripture said that in Matthew 24th chapter, read that.
For as the lightning cometh out of the east, and shineth even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Okay, so the scripture saying that as lightning shine from the east into the west, so shall the Son of Man come. And when he come, he will find his people gathered under the symbol of the eagle, and the eagle will feast off of their carcass. And the symbol of America is the eagle. And I want to go further, but I'm going to come back to that point in a few minutes. And let's go to the book of Habakkuk. I want to show you where God is mounting up to come. In the third chapter, third to the sixth verse.
God came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise. And his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Before him went the pestilence, and burning coals went forth at his feet. He stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations.
Hold it right there. He measured the earth, and when Master Fard Muhammad came, he taught us the circumference of the planet, 24,896 miles. He taught us the diameter of the earth, 7,926 miles. We ran it off to 8,000 miles. He taught us how much land it was, 57,255,000 square miles. He taught us how much water it is, 139,685,000 square miles. And he taught us about the Pacific Ocean. He said the Pacific Ocean is 66,634,000 square miles. The Atlantic Ocean, 4,321,000 square miles. The Indian Ocean, 29,430,000 square miles. He taught us that light travel at 186 miles per second. And he taught us that sand travels at the rate of 1,120 feet per second. And he taught us that the sun is 140 Fahrenheit, and the earth is 93 million miles from the earth, and the sun put light on the earth 8 minutes and 20 seconds. He taught us all of this, and then we'll go on to Romans 8, 3 and 4. where it's showing that he came in sinful flesh to condemn sin in the flesh. He had to come disguised because they was looking for someone to come. And I'm going to show you that in when I go back to the 24th chapter of Matthew. I want to show you where about the eagle. You got Romans chapter 8, 3 and 4.
Now, is this the King James Version?
Yeah, the King James Bible.
So you don't use the Quran?
You know what? I teach the Bible mostly because of the fact that my people is locked up in the Bible. And the same thing, put them to sleep, the same thing will wake them up. But see, people don't teach the full gospel. They teach certain parts of the book. And I want to bring forth the full book that will raise Lazarus from the grave and bring him forth.
Okay.
Okay.
For what the law could not do, in that it was weak through the flesh, God sending his own Son in the likeness of sinful flesh, and for sin condemned sin in the flesh, that the righteousness of the law might be fulfilled in us, who walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit.
Okay, now this man right here, Master Farad Muhammad, he looked white, but he's a black man. And he came and he studied for 42 years to come to get us. 42 years, and he came and he went to all the colleges and universities. He went into all the libraries, and he studied. He studied the black man and he studied the white man. He had to find a teacher that would bring one down and raise the other one up. So therefore, he studied. He met with a couple of presidents, and they knew who he were. But you know what? It was time for him, and they couldn't do nothing about it. But he had to come like that in sinful flesh so they wouldn't see him coming. And the scriptures say he came under cover of darkness. That means he come unobserved. He come without noticing. People didn't know him when he came. And when he came, he went to Detroit and started off there. And he went door to door selling silk. And he would, they call it black bottom. And he went and door to door, and he'd tell the sisters, "How you doing?" He said, I got some silk from your brothers in the East. And the sister said, "What brother in the East?" They didn't know about no black man in the East. They didn't know we were from the East. Most of us did. And at that time, you know, that was in the 30s. And when he was telling them that, and they was very interested, so he said, "Well, gather your friends and I come back and teach." And he went back, and then they started a study group, and before you know it, he had a lot of followers. So he went to, then they started a study group off in Detroit. And then after that, you know, they made him leave out of Detroit, so he went to Chicago. But, you know, Master Farad Muhammad is the one that came, and he found the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. This man only a third grade, went to only the third grade of education. And he taught him for 3 years and 4 months, and then left him here. He didn't ask him to give me some money. He left him and didn't ask for a dime. He knew that he would be a big man one day. And Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he raised up a nation that's powerful. In the 30s, the black woman put on a long dress and a headpiece. Black men come off of crack cocaine, come off of heroin, and come out in the streets of pimping and all of these things and become a righteous man, you know. So you tell me what could do that but the power of God. And that's what we need today, somebody that will stand up. But we have one today that's doing that, and that's why I'm here. And this is my time, right? So I'll be back in 10 minutes.
All right, folks, we'll take a break. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Come back. Thank you for joining us. And Johnny, obviously, a response. We're kind of going back and forth, a little response. And then we're going to get into some questions about, you know, the difference in the religions that people can understand between Jesus Christ and, let's say, Elijah Muhammad and that sort of thing. So,
Well, one of the things that I want to encourage the community to remember, and I doubt that some of them do remember, but so I have the clip for you tonight. Malvester said 10 years ago that he didn't believe that Jesus raised from the dead, so don't let him come in here and try to pretend that he really believes the Bible. He doesn't believe the Bible. All he's trying to do is ease into your heart by saying a few things good about the Bible. And tonight what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate that all they're doing, Elijah Muhammad, they started a black man's religion. This is a whole thing about the race issues, just like I said from the very beginning. It's about the white churches not being really honest about what the Bible says about race. So what they've done is they've just responded in kind, and they've started a black religion. And we all know here in town that it is a black religion, and I'm going to demonstrate to you tonight that we don't need either Elijah Muhammad, nor do we need Muhammad, and I want to show you why. Let's go to a video that I have of the peaceful religion that we're being told about, the Nation of Islam. Listen to Malcolm X.
In all of this is that two black groups have to fight and kill each other off. Elijah Muhammad could stop the whole thing tomorrow just by raising his hand. Really, he could. He could stop the whole thing by raising his hand. But he won't. He doesn't love black people. He doesn't even love his own followers. Proof of which they're killing each other. They killed one in the Bronx. They shot another one in the Bronx. They tried to get 6 of us Sunday morning. And the pattern has developed across the country. The man has gone insane. Absolutely out of his mind. Besides, you can't be 70 years old and surround yourself by a handful of 16, 17, 18-year-old girls and keep your right mind. You can't do it.
Frankly, it has been a well-known fact, though only in the form of rumor, that there has been a great deal of apprehension at my being out of the black Muslim movement on the part of the black Muslims themselves. And I had stated in a newspaper article about an effort to take my life back in January, and at that time the Muslims denied it. In fact, they tried to make it appear to my brother that I was insane. But on a program in Chicago called Hotline, this moderated by Wesley South, John Ali, the national secretary, admitted, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, one of these days last week, that they absolutely were going to kill me.
Why are they threatening your life?
Well, primarily because they're afraid that I will tell the real reason that I'm out of the black Muslim movement, which I never told. I kept to myself. But the real reason is that Elijah Muhammad, the head of the movement, is the father of 8 children by 6 different teenage girls, 6 different teenage girls who were his private personal secretary. 4 of them had 1 child apiece by him. 2 of them...
Come back. All right, now, folks, what I'm demonstrating to you tonight is that Malcolm X, one of the persons who is the most popular Nation of Islam person that you know. If you're 50 years old, 60 years old, one of the most popular, well-known person in the Nation of Islam you ever heard of was Malcolm X. You may have forgotten what happened to Malcolm X. You may not have known. The other person that you probably knew was Muhammad Ali. But here Malcolm X is telling that he was exposing Elijah Muhammad for having sex with 6 of his secretaries. Well, that's not the only thing, and really, I don't see why that they bothered to do that. Now, let's go to my screen right quick. I'm going to ask Melvester which one of the hadiths that he actually uses. We have both of the hadiths, which is actually the commentary or the running context of the Quran. If you ever read the Quran, you know you can't make any sense of it without something extra, and that's why he's not talking about the Quran tonight, because he knows it's not going to make any sense. So, but basically, here's the rules for the Muslims in regard to marriage. And what I'm going to demonstrate tonight is both of these hadiths, the 2 most popular hadiths. If you find it in one of these hadiths, it can be right. If you find it in both of these, it's ironclad. Go back up, and I'm going to show you what we're actually talking about. Here in the first hadith that I'm looking at, volume 762, number 63, it actually states that Muhammad took a wife who was 6 years old, and he consummated the marriage when she was 9. Now, that's in one of the very popular hadiths, and tonight we'll ask him which one he actually follows. The Prophet, and he goes on to say, the Prophet, I used to go around, have sexual relations with all his wives in one night, and he had 9 wives. So here you got a guy who's going around having sex with all of his wives in one night. I remember asking, hearing this right here on this station, asking Gallimore if he's having sex with 2 of the women at the same time, and he didn't want to talk about that. Well, they've got it right there in their hadith. It's clear as a bell. Now, here's another one, another popular hadith, and basically Muslim scholars say if you find it in both of these, it is ironclad. This is the second one that actually says that he was having sex with his with this 9-year-old lady. So, come back to me. What's the big deal about Elijah Muhammad having sex with 6 secretaries who are under the age? Muhammad, the guy who he's following, was having sex with a 9-year-old. And folks, this was at 53 years old. The man already had 8 wives when he's 53, and now he's wanting to have another wife who is 9 years old. You can't tell me these are the individuals that are going to solve our problems.
All right. Hold on, folks. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. You don't want to miss this. Stay with us. Welcome back, folks. Thank you for joining us. And obviously, kind of some explosive information there. We're talking about some people that you allegedly kind of follow, and he's talking about this sex scandal with kids underage and sex with the teenagers and that sort of thing. Of course, you get a chance to respond.
Well, you know what? I don't know about what he trying to say, but I know Abraham had wives. All the prophets had wives and more than one wife. So I don't want to get into an argument about that because that's where it worked all through the scriptures. David had wives and Solomon had 1,000 wives. So what's the problem about that? That's a poor excuse to attack a person for when God make it lawful for someone to have, and if he made it lawful for it, then I don't have nothing to say about it. But I want to get back to the 24th chapter of Matthew, where it says that the lightning shine from the east into the west, so shall the Son of Man come, and he will find the carcass where the eagles gather. That's where the carcass will be. And if you look at this dollar bill, this is the seal right here of the dollar bill. This is the seal of America. So what I want to do is show you where Israel is, so that people can know. And the symbol is the eagle, right? So I want to show you something. If you look at a dollar and you look at the top part, it got 13 stars in it. And I'm gonna put it up here so you can see it. 13. And 4 right here. Four stars. And then it's 3 at the bottom. And then it's 4 again. And then 1 at the bottom. Okay, I'm going to show you that the seal of America. They always say money talk, but we never know what it says. And they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 points. And it has 6 points, 6 angles, and 6 degrees. And that is the seal of America. And it's 13 tribes. And the 13 tribes, and one of them got lost. And that's this one right here. And that's the black people in America. That was the children of Israel. And somebody had to come to get them. And if you look at the other part of this dollar, it got the pyramids represent Egypt. And if you see the pyramids, and these are the people that built the pyramids. And their eyes, they're watching to see this man come. And then if you look at, in D.C., they got a monument. And then they got, it's 555 feet high. And if you make that 1 there, that's the year that they brought us here in slavery, in 1555. But they say in the Library of Congress that we come here in 1619. But we come here in 1555. And I want to show you something else. I need that bag with the stuff in. I want to show you something else at the Capitol building. What we don't know. Give me that. We don't know. This is the Capitol building. And guess who's up on the top of that building right there? This man right here.
Well, that's not the Capitol. That's the
Justice Department.
Supreme Court of the United States.
Yeah. And guess who at the top of it? It said, how did Muhammad get there? And Muhammad is there. That's the Quran in Arabic writing. And these are secrets that's hidden from the people. And and not only that, the people don't know that the Quran was in the Constitution. Thomas Jefferson had a Quran, and our brother from Missouri, he went in office and he wanted to use the Quran to swear in on. So they got Thomas Jefferson's Quran. So that means that the Quran was there at the Constitution. So, but this country did not ever want Islam to enter into it, because George Washington made a decree that Islam would never enter into the West, because Islam free people, and they didn't want the truth to come in, and the Bible was written in parables and phrases so that the people wouldn't know until the right time. So, and now it's the right time. That's why information is coming forth, and people need to start studying and learning that Islam is not a religion, it's a way of life. This is something that you practice every day, you live every day. And how you treat people, that's your religion. And a lot of people like to, and then Abraham's seed, you know, I want to deal with that on the next segment about the seed of Abraham. How did the Muslims and the Jews and the Christians become enemies to one another? Some happened because all three of them is at the house of Abraham. All three of them go back to Abraham. So why is it that we fighting and arguing with one another? It's because Satan got in the midst and divided us up. And they didn't intend for the three families to join together so that they could overtake Satan's world. Satan's world is falling fast now, because if you look at the tornadoes that God bringing on this country, and he's whooping them hard. And we're going to talk about that a little more too when I come back.
All right, folks,
and then we'll talk with Johnny a little more.
All right, we're going to have some conversation going, some questions. Two-way conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, back live here. Appreciate you joining us, folks. And Johnny, obviously some, I guess, controversial issues from, this goes back to what I kind of talked about at the beginning, the difference in the Quran and the King James Version of the Bible. What is that distinctive difference?
Well, one of the things he just said, Bob, is he said that's in the East. He's not going to deal with the East, so he's telling us right here, and I have his book right here, they do not follow the Quran. I have it right here on page 49 of the Message to the Black Man. It actually says, that the last one to come into the world is greater than the greatest of this world, and the Orthodox Muslim will have to bow. Well, folks, the Nation of Islam is telling the Orthodox Muslim, the people in the East, that they're going to have to bow down to the Nation of Islam. And I know that that's what they're saying, because the guy that James Oldfield just debated, he said if Malvester builds a mosque over here, he's going to blow it up. So these individuals, he's claiming that he backs the Quran, and man, the Quran, these people in the Quran, they're not about to put up with that. That the Orthodox Muslim, that the guys over in the East are going to bow down to the Nation of Islam, not going to happen. So what I'm showing is Malvester is not being upright with you. He's not being clear. He doesn't follow the Quran. He's trying to sneak around with the Bible. Listen to this clip from when I talked to him 10 years ago and see if this man really believes the Bible. You be the judge.
The question, because I believe that Jesus, I believe in Jesus, I follow Jesus. I believe that Jesus came and they so-called crucified him. And
so-called crucified him.
But I don't believe that they killed him. I think he escaped death just like the Bible said, because when they took him off the cross, they didn't break his leg like they did to other people. So if they didn't break his leg, they don't know whether he was dead, passed out, or what. And then when Jesus got
The question is then, if who is it that does know? Malvester came on with that little a drawing that he put up there a while ago, and then tried to convince you that there's some secret writings on the Justice Building, and that Muhammad is behind something here in the United States. All this secretive stuff. Now, Malvester, you had your turn. You just go ahead and hold on. See, that's what's happening here. He's already wanting to talk into my time. Let me just go ahead and make this statement, too, while we're at it. I'm actually having a shorter time than he is. He's taking 7 to 10 minutes. I'm taking 5 minutes. That's fine, because that's all it takes for the truth to be demonstrated. And so, did you hear him just a minute ago? Folks, this man said Jesus Christ didn't die. Do not let him trick you into thinking that he is actually for the Bible. Number 2, all you have to do is go on the internet and look up the Roman insignia, and you'll find out that the Romans insignia that actually destroyed Jerusalem in AD 70 was an eagle. Jesus was actually telling the individuals that when they see the sign of the eagle, they better hit the road. In Matthew chapter 24, he says, if you're having a baby and you're giving suck, you're in bad shape because you're going to be running. If you're out in the field, do not come back to your house to get something. You need to run for the mountains. And when you see the sign of the eagle, you know that all of this is at hand. That was the insignia of the Roman army. All this stuff he's doing is just like the Jehovah's Witness. It's just like, what's the gentleman over here that's got the other wives? And don't let him hoodwink you into thinking, too, that this is all Eastern stuff. We're showing you tonight that this is stuff that's going on in Chicago, and I don't think you knew about his prophet having sex with the secretaries.
All right, stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. We're going to rejoin on the set, and we're going to really get into some real debate and give folks a chance to also join us. Stay with us. Live and interesting dialogue and debate here. Obviously, some very different views. The Supreme Court, the statue.
Yeah.
Do we have any?
I want to show them.
Authenticity of who that is, that statue?
Well, you know how I know it was up there? Newt Gingrich. He did on the historical channel.
Right.
He showed it, and I said, Lord, look at that. And Newt Gingrich talked about it the whole time. And this you can see the Arabic Quran.
Has that been bona fide as the part of the Quran?
I mean, that's the Quran right there. You see it in Arabic writing.
It looks like he's laughing at it.
But you know, the Muslims demonstrated to make them take it down because they didn't want it up. I thought I had the paper that talking about it. I got it off the internet. You can go on the internet and get it yourself. But what I want to deal with is what Johnny said about Jesus on the cross. I'm gonna go in your book, King James Version, and show you something about that. In Acts 5:29-31. Can you read that?
And it reads, Then Peter and the other apostles answered and said, We ought to obey God rather than man. The God of our fathers raised up Jesus, who ye slew and hanged on a tree. Him hath God exalted with his right hand to be Prince and a Savior, for to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sins.
So this right here tell me that they hung him on a tree, not on the cross. And if you go to Peter, 1 Peter,
Wait a minute. I didn't get yet. I didn't get it.
Acts 5:29-31, that they hung Jesus on a tree. They didn't. That's what he's saying here. Read it to him again.
You said he didn't die.
The God of our fathers raised up Jesus, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. He hath God exalted with his right
This is
hand
the King James Version now.
to be a Prince and a Savior, for to give repentance to Israel.
Now, which one did they do? Did they put him on the cross or did they hang him on a tree? Go to 1 Peter 2:24.
Who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sins, should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed.
But when you're talking about a tree and you're talking about a cross, the cross was made from a tree. Could that be something?
No, see, Jesus, the cross is a weapon that the Romans used to use to, like they use electric chair here in the
Crucify
needle,
people.
right? Crucify people,
Yeah.
well, kill people in a sense, like the electric chair.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you look, the Romans, Constantine had a dream one night of a cross, and in this cross it had written in it in Latin, "In hoc signa vinces," in this sign we conquer. And Constantine took this cross and went around the world during the crusade and forced people to become Christians with the sword and the cross. And that's why they made it the symbol of Christianity. But the early Christians, you know what the symbol what the symbol were? Do you know, Johnny? It was a fish. And then when they come along with the Romans, then they put the cross out there so they could start. And then if you go,
Asking me, you can't prove that.
yes I can, yes I can.
325 years later, 325 years later is what you're bringing up about Constantine.
Okay.
The argument was Jesus didn't die. You're skirting the argument.
We'll get back on that. Did Jesus die or did he not die?
No, he didn't die on the cross.
Did he die in a tree?
You know what? The Bible contradicting itself, but from we is taught about Jesus. Jesus escaped death, and he lived a long life after that. But he escaped death. They didn't kill him.
So he escaped.
The Quran say they definitely didn't kill him.
Now, this is what I can't understand. You read out this Bible, and then you read out the Quran. I mean, they both come together?
The Bible, the Quran backs up the truth of the Bible.
Now,
Right.
is this the segment where we're going to talk?
Yeah, we're going to talk. We're going to
Well,
talk.
He's making all these statements, and I need to respond back to him.
Yeah.
Can we
Yeah.
start responding?
The thing we need to know that the way we understand about Jesus, he didn't die on the cross. You know, Jesus was a greater man than Moses. They didn't kill Moses. So why would God let them kill a man greater than Moses? You know, so you know what? And Jesus said in his own words, and no man had the power to take my life. I lay down my own life. So then did Jesus lay himself on the cross? No, they took him and put him on the cross. They viciously, way they said, they viciously killed this man. And if you look at that movie, they beat him. They beat that man. I went and seen that movie, I said they should stop beating that man the way they were beating him. And then, you know, why would his disciples sit around and watch them beat him like that and don't do nothing?
Part of the program. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.
And deal with the truth.
You're doing a good job.
All right, we're back now. We're on a discussion here about this, the thing on the Supreme Court that Newt Gingrich kind of exposed.
Yeah.
And Johnny says you can't prove one way or the other.
I said it's my granddaddy.
Johnny said this is his grandfather.
That's my grandfather.
But you know what? Muhammad was a white man.
Well,
He was.
but you already said you don't go with the East, and so I'm going to take you at your word for it.
Well, I'm just showing you what is on the building that in America.
And that don't prove anything. I mean, we're supposed to be having a discussion about
But-
your book and the Bible. We've already caught you saying that you did, and I appreciate you for saying it, Malvester, right out front. You snuck in here trying to say that you really believe the Bible, and then you came right out and said you don't believe Jesus died. Now, that's where you need to be. Why don't you
Wait
just
a
go on
minute.
and say that y'all oppose the Bible? You know you do.
I didn't say I ain't believe in the Bible. I said I believe in the truth of the Bible.
Okay, go ahead and tell it. Now, the Mormons say the same thing. They say, we believe in the truth of the Bible, but guess what? The Bible is not actually translated right. So you all don't have the real Bible. So go ahead and tell us, do we have the real Bible?
You got the version.
Do we have the real Bible?
King James Version.
I'm saying
give
go
me
ahead
that
and
book
tell us
about King
clearly.
James.
Go ahead and tell us clearly. I mean, the community can stand it. We don't
Give me
really
that book
have the
about King
Bible, do
James.
we?
On the top.
We
on the
don't
top
really have the
shelf,
Bible,
right
do we,
over there,
Malvester?
top shelf.
This is not really the Bible. You said you believe the Bible, but you know it's been tampered with.
What version is that?
I'm just saying, go on and tell the community what you're going to say.
What version
you
is it?
believe it's been
Y'all
tampered
see this
with.
right here? This is King James. This is one that had the Bible translated. It's in the library. You can go right up there and say, listen to this man right here. Let me see, way here. I don't want to read the whole thing. Okay, let me start. She showed us James, the young king, who struggled to bring peace and prosperity to war-torn Scotland for almost 20 years before Queen Elizabeth died in England.
Are you trying to make my point or your
making
point?
him heirs to the second throne, and he had to lead both nations for over 20 years or more. She showed how the tension between political and religious factors under the rule were no more acute than his own intentions that drove him between a wife he loved and a series of homosexual favors between scholars. So this telling you that King James
Good. You're doing a wonderful job. You're telling the community that you don't believe the King James Version either. That's what I want you to do.
I'm telling you that this man got dirty hands.
Good.
And then,
okay,
and
can we put up on the screen?
I'm
You got
asking
to
another
read. Put up
question,
the
John.
screen right
I'm
quick.
asking another question, John.
Okay, you got to read. Wait a minute. Now, you just
Okay.
got to read, and I didn't get to say anything. Now, put up on the screen, if you would, what I have. Here is his prophet having sex with a 9-year-old. Now, he's talking about this guy being a homosexual, and his prophet's having sex with a 9-year-old. Now, you know what? Basically, go ahead and drop that. You're making my case, Malvester. You don't believe in the King James Bible. Why don't you just go ahead and tell the people? and you don't believe that Jesus
You
died.
can't put words in my mouth.
Okay, well, you go ahead and tell them. Tell them on the air so we all know when we leave here. Does Malvester Dixon believe the King James is the Bible?
I said King James' hands is dirty, and King James had, I think, 40 people helping him translate it. And I'm going to ask you a question.
No, you didn't answer. You did not answer. I'm not answering your question if you're not going to answer mine. Do you believe the King James is the Bible?
King James is the Bible.
I'm saying the King James Version is the Word of God today. Go ahead and tell the community you don't believe that.
I believe in the truth of it, and the
No,
Quran
see, that's
backs
beating
up
around
the
the
truth
bush.
of it.
That's beating around the bush, y'all.
Well,
He
does that
doesn't-
mean, if he says the truth of it, does that mean there's some division in
Look
it?
here.
Yeah.
Here's his prophet right here. Let me read his prophet. He read from that. Here's his prophet. They have the Bible so twisted by adding and taking out the truth that it takes only God, that it takes only God or one whom God has given the knowledge of the book to understand it.
That's right.
So he's saying that his prophet had to come along and tell us what the Bible really says because it's so twisted. So why don't you just go ahead and tell the community you don't believe in the Bible?
The Bible say, how can they know unless they have a teacher, and how can they have a teacher unless I send?
Are you quoting from the King James now? Are you quoting
yes,
from the King
yes,
James? But you
King
don't believe
James.
King James is the Bible, so what are you doing
I
that
say I
for?
believe in the truth of it.
We just caught you. You
Well,
know that it's not really.
I believe
it's
in the truth
tamper.
of it. Give me the final call. Oh, you got one right here. Let me show you something.
So, y'all, while he's looking for that again, he
No,
didn't
I'm
answer.
I'm right on
He
it.
doesn't
Here we go right
believe
here.
that Jesus died. He
This
said
is
plain
what we
out.
believe, John.
Okay.
This is what we believe. The third point. We believe in the truth of the Bible, but we believe that it has been tampered with and must be reinterpreted so that mankind will not be sneered by the falsehood that has been added to it.
I just read that out of your book.
Okay,
What problem
then.
did you have with this prophet?
Okay, then. So this is the same thing.
It's the same thing, right?
But
You
what
don't
I'm
believe
saying is-
that the New
Wait
Testament
a
in the
minute.
King James is really the Bible.
I said we
Tell
believe
us.
in the truth of it.
But you do, see, folks, that's double talk. That's why we're here. He doesn't really believe that it is the truth unless his prophet tells you what it says or he gets to tell you. Then he tells you that Newt Gingrich has to tell you what's going on at the Justice Building, and then he started quoting from The Passion of Christ. I mean, are you actually going to follow Mel Gibson's portrayal of what happened to Jesus?
But Johnny, what you gonna say about him being hung on a tree and being on the cross? So which one is it? Which one is it?
It doesn't matter to me.
Oh, okay.
Because see, we were discussing.
Just like I said, I believe in the truth
we
of the Bible,
were discussing
but you
that
cannot.
Jesus didn't die. That's how we got on the tree cross stuff.
But you cannot justify what you're saying, and because of that, I'm gonna ask you a question.
No.
What
Here we
language
go.
did he translate that out of?
Okay, here we go. See, what we're doing, folks, is we're getting off the subject. What really started this about the tree and the cross is I actually had him saying that Jesus didn't die. And Bob, you asked him, did Jesus really not die? And he started in on that smoke screen. Well, it was a tree and it wasn't a cross. And then we got Mel Gibson into it. What really is the issue here is Malvester Dixon won't tell this community point blank, well, I already have it for him. Malvester Muhammad does not believe that Jesus really died on a tree or a cross. They didn't kill him. He said that 10 years ago, and he's saying it again tonight. So you cannot trust this man. Don't listen to him when he's talking about helping you with the Bible. What he wants to do is help you right into the arms of Elijah Muhammad. So what do you say to that?
I'm saying this, that I believe in the truth of the Bible. The truth I stand by. The Quran backs up the truth of the Bible. And and I ask you a question: what language did the King James translate the Bible out of?
Okay, I'll answer your question if you will answer one of mine. There's going to be mine. I'm going to answer it. You didn't give me a chance to answer, but I'm going to ask you: what language did you actually learn about the Quran? Now you going to answer that when I get through?
What language did I learn out of the Quran?
All right. You going to answer that when I get through? Okay. What was your question? What language did the New Testament come out of? Is that what you said?
I said, what language was it translated out of?
Greek.
What was it before Greek?
No, it was Greek.
No.
That's what you say. Now go ahead and answer my question now.
Greeks, that language come out in the East.
Now you're telling me that you don't know what happened to Malcolm X, but you know what happened in 100 AD.
Wait a minute. Most people say it come out of Hebrew, right? I know you know that.
No, it doesn't
Johnny.
come out of Hebrew.
I know.
No scholar says that it came out of Hebrew.
But it
Absolutely
go
not.
back to Islam.
No scholar says the New Testament came out of Hebrew. I don't know where you got that. I'd like to see you
I ain't
prove
said
that.
the New Testament. I said the Bible. What he had it translated from. What language was it?
Greek. The New Testament was never in Hebrew. If anybody told you that, I'd like to see you prove it. You can't get one reputable scholar to say that the New Testament came out of Hebrew. Never.
Well, you know
The original
what?
language is Greek. Now, you answer my question.
The original language that the Bible was written in was Arabic.
It was
Aramaic.
not. You cannot get a scholar anywhere to say that.
Well,
it's Greek. Now you
I
answer
know,
my question.
I know.
Let me ask you
I
this.
thought,
He's supposed to answer my
you
question
were
now.
deeper than that, John.
He's supposed to ask. Well, I'm saying you
I
come up
thought
with a
you were
scholar.
deeper
You
than
come
that.
up with one person that says that you first said that the New Testament was in Hebrew. Everybody
The
who's listening knows
Greeks
that.
is Johnny come lately.
Okay, here we go.
They
Now you
Johnny
answer
come
my
lately.
question. Yeah, you answer my question.
What?
Can the Quran be actually translated into a pure language in anything but Arabic?
No, sir.
Okay, how did you learn it then? You don't know
Learn
Arabic.
what? I don't know. I know I can speak a little Arabic. I don't know
A
Arabic.
little. And you come on here won't tell us you're a scholar in the Quran, and you're
No,
basically telling us, so
you saying that?
No, you just said you can't speak Arabic?
No.
So then the Quran that you're reading
I can
is not
speak
pure?
Bismillah Rahman Rahim Malik Yawmuddin. I can speak.
I could
something
try that
like
too.
Well,
And nobody knows if it's...
but the point, I can't. Really, my people don't speak Arabic here in
Who's your
America.
people?
Black people.
That's your people?
Yeah.
So is Jesus, and so Allah is only the God of the black people?
No, sir.
Okay, why are
No,
you saying
sir.
your people then? Am I not one of your people?
You
Is
can
this a
be-
black man's religion?
You can be my brother by in faith.
Okay. But I have to go to Elijah Muhammad to do that.
Well, you know what? You know the Swinners and the Masons.
Yeah.
Okay, then you should know about that.
Well, they talking about as much secret stuff as you talking about, all the secret signs and all this stuff on the dollar
But
bill.
I'm
and all
exposing the secrets.
I told you that's my
exposing the
granddaddy.
secret.
You hadn't proved this not my granddaddy yet.
I don't want to prove it. I'm just showing you what's out there, and people can go on the internet and find it themselves and show.
Now the
that's
internet
it, that's
proof.
the
We
deal.
got
And-
Newt Gingrich, we got Mel Gibson, and now we got the internet. I thought you was going to deal out of the Quran, and you already said that you.
No,
can't.
I told you I was coming on here and talk about what the Bible says.
Well, then we got your prophet saying that the Bible is really not the truth. Not the King James.
I'm still can talk about the truth of the Bible.
Okay, which one are you going to? Okay, what version are you going to read from? Y'all was reading from the King James a while ago,
Yes.
and you don't even believe the King James is really the truth. So why are you doing that?
I
Are you
said
trying to play a
the
game with
truth
us?
of it. The
Well,
truth
which
of the
part is
Bible.
truth? Because I'm going to read your prophet again. They have the Bible so twisted by adding and taking out the truth. All right, when you was reading in Luke a while ago and in Acts chapter 5, verse 29, was that the truth? Are you sure that wasn't twisted too? The part about the tree?
Well, the Quran said that they did not kill him.
Now here we go. He already said that you cannot have a Quran that is translated pure into English, and you don't speak Arabic, so I don't want to even hear what you said about
Well,
the
then
Quran.
why
either.
would you want to read the Bible when the Bible was written in Arabic and then Hebrew and then Greek and then into English?
Okay.
Well, why would you want to even
Here we
touch the
go.
Bible then?
Here we go, folks.
As far as that concerned.
Here we go. I
Because if
didn't
it was
say-
translated, I'm in Arabic into Hebrew
asked
into Greek, then why would he even want to touch the
You
Bible?
ask me and I'll answer. No one in
If
the
he want to
Bible-
come with that
He don't want to let me answer.
that
He don't want to let me
mindset.
answer.
If you
No.
want to come with that mindset,
No.
Johnny, well, why would you even want to touch the Bible? Because
Let me answer.
the original language
See,
was Arabic.
because I know he knows I got the answer. I didn't say, nor does anybody who reads the Bible say you have to understand Greek. You're the one who knows that you have to understand Arabic or you don't have a pure translation. You shaking your head no? Everybody, he's already said yes. Everybody knows that you cannot have a Quran that is really pure unless it's in Arabic. You just sat right here and said it, didn't you?
I say you cannot translate Arabic into English and give it
Pure.
pure form.
Okay, so you don't
You're
have
right
a pure
about
Bible
that. I'm
either,
not
then.
going to disagree with that.
Okay, thank you.
But do you have a pure Bible?
See, I don't make that argument.
Wait a
though.
minute, no. If you won't say that to me about the
you
Quran,
said it.
If you don't say that to me about the Quran, let's say it
I'm
about
just
this.
holding you to y'all's argument. I don't say that, Bob.
I'm holding
We
you
don't-
to that same
we don't
thing you
say that.
saying.
We don't say you have to know Greek, and we don't say that you can't translate from Greek and get a pure New Testament.
See this
They
man
say
right
it.
here? This man right here had people to translate that book into his version now. His version.
Thank you. You're
That's
making
his
my
version
point.
right there.
You're making my point. Malvester Muhammad does not believe in the King James, y'all, and he said up
I didn't
there
say
and
I didn't
had to
believe
keep-
in it.
Well, what do you
I
believe?
said we believe in the truth
What
of it.
part of it is true then? The
Well-
part about the tree or the part about Jesus dying?
The part about that.
You don't want to answer those two instances I
No,
gave
no. I'm trying to deal with something that you said. What about okay? I believe in John 16:7-13 that about the Holy Ghost is a He. Is a He, then He will lead you and guide you into all truth.
It didn't say you. He was in the upper room with his 11 apostles. That's all.
But He, it's a He. It's not a spirit. See, y'all want to make the Holy Ghost a
No.
spirit that float around. You know.
You don't need to put me with the denominations because
well,
you know I'm not with them.
well-
So don't start saying I'm apostolic.
That's a good question. Is
Yeah.
God a man or a spirit?
He's a man.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. Did y'all hear that? Did the community hear that God is a man? I couldn't have done it better myself.
I wanna deal with that.
Good. Go ahead.
Give me my book.
That's
Give me
great
my
stuff.
Bible
God
right
is a
there.
man.
Right there.
Jesus did not die, and the King James is
Let me
not
show.
really
I'm
the
gonna
truth. You're
show
doing
you.
a fantastic
Let's
job.
go. Let's go to Genesis 6:9.
Is this the same book we're dealing with?
Yeah, it's King
He don't
James
believe
version.
this is the Bible, though, sir.
But are we dealing with the same book?
Yeah, he's wanting to read out of something he doesn't even believe is true.
All right.
Now, that's
King
good
James
stuff. That's
version.
good stuff.
King James
Good
is King
stuff.
James version.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
You
You
know
don't
what?
believe it, though, do you?
I believe the truth of it.
Well, which part of it's true? See,
The
that's
truth
double
of it.
talk. We all know it.
The truth of
That's
it.
the same thing the Mormons say. Everybody in this community knows that the Mormon says that the whore of Babylon has retranslated the Bible, and that's why they got the Book of Mormon. And guess what? That's why Malvester's got the Quran, because he don't really believe that. He's just trying to get you in his camp just for a minute so he can trick you around
All right, listen to
into
this.
following this guy
Listen to this.
from the King
That
James
the
now.
sons of God saw daughters of men that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. And it says, and the Lord, I want to deal with the 9th verse though.
Y'all need to get my smile. This is good stuff.
These are the generations of Noah. Noah was a just man and perfect in his generation, and Noah walked with God. So that means God could walk.
Okay.
He had
God was a
legs.
man. You're doing. You
He
can
had
go
legs.
ahead and
Okay,
take
let's
all
go.
the
Let's
time on
go
that you want
to
to.
the 32nd verse.
I'm loving it. God is a man.
go to the
Don't you
32nd
do it?
verse.
Now, that's out of the same Bible. What do you
I
say
know.
to that response?
Yeah,
I
go
say
ahead,
that
John.
God talks about himself
As
in a
if he
way
was.
that we can understand, but he's saying that he really is a man. I'm loving it. You go right ahead. Y'all go
Okay,
ahead and give him all the time you want to.
Genesis the 30th, it said, and Jacob called the name of the place Pelim, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved.
Good.
Face to face, King James.
Good. Good. So you're saying
That's
God,
like me and you sitting here talking.
That's
John.
good. That's good. I
Okay,
want everybody in the community. I'm not about
Genesis.
to get into this. You just keep letting him make his case.
Let's go to
God
Genesis
is a
18.
Man. God is a man.
Yes,
When
he
you
a
get
man.
ready to pray to God, remember you're praying to a dusty-eyed man. And this man right here,
Okay, listen to
that's
this one.
dead, wants you to pray to him.
Listen to this. No, he don't.
He
no,
doesn't.
he don't. He ain't dead either.
Elijah
18th
Muhammad is not
18th
dead?
chapter of Genesis said, and the Lord appeared unto him in the plain of the manor, and he sat in the tent door in the heat of the day. And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, there 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself towards the ground and said, my Lord, if I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, for thy servant. Let a low water, I pray for you, to be fets and wash your feet. Now he got feet. He gonna wash
I'm
his feet.
loving it.
Listen
Keep
to this
going,
now.
keep going. God is a man. Y'all
And rest
praying to a
yourself
man.
under the tree. Rest yourself under the tree, Johnny.
You
Just sit
believe
down.
that? I thought you
And
didn't
I
believe
will
that.
fetch a morsel of bread and comfort ye your heart.
Good.
After that ye shall pass on.
Good.
And therefore ye come to your servant. And
Now,
they said, so
he's taking a
do
lot of
as
time,
thou
man.
hast said. Abraham.
Okay, let me have
okay.
a chance to respond.
So it show. I want to show you that Abraham
You've
fed them
done
and
a
they ate.
fantastic
They ate
job.
food.
You've done a fantastic job. How about give me a chance
And
now?
then the 2 men that was with them, we found out
That's
later
good.
they
Talk
was
over.
angels.
That's good.
They was
That's
angels,
good.
right? They went to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Malvester.
And
Do
they
you don't
destroyed
think
Sodom
that
and Gomorrah.
everybody here knows
So
that
the
you
Lord
believe
was
that God is a
with
man?
them in 2. Yes,
Good,
God is a
good.
man.
Does
All right.
anybody on this set tonight have a problem with him believing that God is a man? We
Let
all
me
heard
go
him,
over
didn't
to
we?
the Exodus.
Does he believe God's a man?
That's what he said.
Okay. Anybody have a problem? So you convinced everybody in here that you, Malvester Muhammad,
Exodus.
believe that God is a man. Okay, we're
Exodus.
done. You don't have to prove it anymore.
33rd
Let me
chapter.
read from your book now.
And the Lord spoke unto Moses.
Let Johnny
No,
talk
it's
now.
okay.
No, let
just
Johnny.
keep
Go
going.
ahead, Johnny.
All right, here we
Johnny
go.
gets a chance to
Who
respond.
really is the God? This is his message to the black man from Elijah Muhammad. Is that your prophet?
Messenger.
Messenger. Okay, what is a prophet? But a messenger. Okay.
Uh,
anyway,
uh,
never mind.
a
So
messenger-
forget
a
I asked.
messenger,
Forget I asked.
don't-
Today, God in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. So tell us, who is God? Since he's a man, is he this man?
Allah come in the person of Master Farad Muhammad.
Now make it clear.
He came in the person of Master Farad
I'm
Muhammad.
reading it. Today, God in the person of this
That's
man.
right. He came in
Now-
the person of Master Farad
Now wait a minute. This is the guy a while ago that you told us that had to go to.
Give me that book with the.
Can I ask you a question, Malvester? Is this the guy
The
that you
one
said
with,
had to go to
Master
University of
Farad
California?
Muhammad
Hello. Is this the guy that had to go to all the universities?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now God has to go to university? All that stuff you was telling us that Master
man
Farad?
right here.
Yeah, he had to go to university.
He went
He
to
did.
study.
Really? Jesus didn't go to any university. How come your man had to?
Well, you know what? He had a greater job than Jesus.
Really? I'm loving it. I'm loving
Greater
it.
job than
This
Jesus.
gentleman, Master Farad, who is God, in the person of Master Farad, had to go to school because he had a greater job. Would you tell us what his greater job was?
To deliver the black man I'm in the hills of North America.
All right.
To raise us I'm in
So
the mud
Jesus
of
came to
civilization.
deliver the whole world from sin,
Well,
and
yeah.
you're saying, oh, you don't believe that either, do you?
I'm saying that after he delivered us, Jesus came to his own first. And after he delivered us, then he going to go to the whole world. The minister getting ready to do that now.
Who's the minister?
Minister Farrakhan. He getting
Oh,
ready to
man.
do that now.
I just heard Mr.
Listen,
Farrakhan admit that he had
let's
a part
go-
in killing Malcolm X.
Let's go back to that. See, that right there is the minister already deal with that. That is insane. You know, the same people that killed Martin, killed Kennedy, they didn't stop killing.
This is good. This is good.
So we
y'all.
need to know
This is
that.
a conspiracy
So
theory
listen,
that
let's go
reaches all
back.
the
Let's
way
go
up
back
to
to the
Malcolm
33rd
X.
chapter of
Can
Genesis.
you tell us why they would want to kill Malcolm X when he was actually on their side for once? Malcolm X jumped out of the Muslims, and he's not an enemy anymore like he was when he was in the Nation of Islam. Now, why would the white people want to kill him? Please tell me.
Because that's what they do.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, he's exposing your man, and the white people want to kill him? I think the white people want to promote him.
Well, you know what? That's
If he's-
what they did.
Really? How do you know that? You told a while ago. I
How
heard
do
you
you
tell
know?
Bob.
How do
I
you know what
don't.
you're saying?
I don't. You
okay,
told Bob
then.
you didn't
Was
know.
you there?
No.
Okay then.
Was you
So
in-
let's talk about who we know.
No, wait a minute. You
Let's
was
talk
over
about
in,
what
you
we
was
know,
over in
Johnny.
100 AD a while ago telling us who translated what. Was you there?
But I read about it.
Oh, really? So I read about Malcolm X, and I actually played the clip out of his own mouth. What do you say about that?
Well, you know what? What you
We supposed to
you,
believe
you
you?
ain't played nothing to prove nothing. All you doing is giving some kind of intuitions that makes people believe this and
Okay,
believe that.
all right.
All that's been done and settled.
Okay, well, what about this? You didn't answer what we had to say about your prophet from the East. Now, you going to tell us again on the air that you don't fool with the East? Did your prophet have a 9-year-old wife or not?
Who?
Muhammad?
We don't have no prophet.
Oh, so Muhammad's not your prophet.
Muhammad 1,400 years ago was the last prophet.
Okay, now are we listening to him out of the Quran or not? You going to throw the Quran away?
But I'm talking about what the Bible says.
Oh, really?
And that's what your program is.
No, my program is showing that you
Okay,
are not honest about any of it.
No one
Now-
listened to us. No
Oh.
one that listened to us have the mind to understand the Quran. So why are we gonna talk about the Quran?
Thank
Let's talk
you.
about what the
Thank
people
you.
already know.
Did y'all
the
hear
people
that?
know the Bible,
He
right?
said
So what's
nobody
the
has
point
the mind
of
to
me
understand
talking?
the Quran. I am pleased that you said
What's
that.
the point of me standing up here trying to teach the Quran when the people is not abreast with the Quran?
Well,
You
we
know?
want a little basic understanding. And you're saying that the Quran kind of backs up some
It
things.
backs up the truth of the Bible.
Okay.
Well, wait a minute, but the Bible's not true.
And the Bible and the Quran have a 19th chapter, a whole chapter, Mary and Jesus. So people want to say that we don't believe in Jesus, we believe in Jesus.
But what does it say about Mary and Jesus? It doesn't say Jesus is the Son of God. It says he's not, Bob.
Well, you know what? It says that he was a prophet.
Does it say he's the Son of God or not?
Jesus didn't say that himself.
Oh, okay, here we go.
The rest of the people said that Jesus
I
said
just
he was the
asked you
Son
one
of Man.
simple question. Does the Quran say no, he wasn't the Son of God? Would you please tell the community?
Johnny, Jesus didn't say
I
he was
knew
the
you
Son of
wouldn't
God.
answer. I knew you would not answer.
Did Jesus say he was the Son of Man?
If you will answer that, I'll go get the scripture that Jesus said he was the Son of God.
Well, you know what?
So you're not going to do it, are you? You're not going to do it.
Do what?
Tell the community, did the Quran say Jesus is not the Son of God?
The Quran said that Jesus is a prophet.
Okay, thank you. You're answering, aren't you? You're not
Okay.
going to tell. All right, I'm going to tell you for Malvester because he won't tell you. The Quran says Jesus is not the Son of God. Now, did I tell the truth or did I lie?
Not a physical son of God.
Okay,
no.
Okay, thank you.
No.
That's what we wanted to hear.
No, but we can become sons of God. If I read over here where God had sons before Jesus was born.
But we're not talking
He
about
said
the
the sons of
time.
men took the daughters the sons of God took the daughters of men because they
Good.
were fair.
Okay, so you're saying-
and then Job, the sons of God
You're
met.
staying with him,
The
Bob?
sons of God
He's saying
came to
we're
God
all
and
sons of
presented
God,
themselves to
just like
God.
Jesus.
Oh, we could be the same.
Yeah, we could be all sons of God, and he got his prophet right here saying he is in God's minister. What is his name? Farad. Now, all I'm doing, Malvester, I'm just verifying what you're saying. Today, God is in the person of Master Farad Muhammad. Did you just say that Elijah Muhammad's not dead?
No, sir, he's not dead.
He's not dead.
No, sir.
All right.
He
So,
escaped death.
but here, I want to go back to something you said to Bob, too. You talked about Solomon having wives. I didn't say anything about having wives. I said a 9-year-old wife. Are you going to address that or not?
Well, Abraham had a handmaid. That means
9 years old?
a wife She was young, very
You know what?
young.
I got a wife, but does that mean I'm taking a 9-year-old?
But you know what? I don't have nothing to do with the prophets. If God made that lawful for the prophets, then I don't have nothing to say nothing about it. You want to say something about it, you say it.
Okay, Elijah Muhammad.
Let that be on you.
Did Elijah Muhammad didn't have secretary? Was he having sex with his secretaries?
He had wives.
Okay,
I don't know about
underage.
that secretary stuff. He had wives.
Okay.
Okay then.
So now, what's the big deal then for him to have these secretaries, impregnating these secretaries, if this gentleman here, who is the main prophet, who Elijah Muhammad said you're supposed to listen to? Now, Malvester, we got you on tape here. You're saying that Malvester, you just said you don't listen to Muhammad as the last prophet, but this man came saying, we got a whole section
I didn't
here.
say that.
Okay, what do
See,
you say?
Johnny, you can't put nothing in my mouth.
Okay, tell us clearly then. See, that's the
What
problem
you
we
want
have.
me to tell you?
I want you to say, what is your relationship to Muhammad? I'm not talking about Elijah Muhammad. I'm talking about the real Muhammad.
Muhammad in the Quran is a sign of Muhammad that would become at the end of time.
Okay, that's what's that? Now, see, we're all done. We
I
don't
know.
what
See,
you're
you
talking about.
don't understand because
Thank you.
that's why I say, and
Make
then
it
we talking
plain.
about that
Make it
because
plain.
if you don't understand, I know the people don't understand.
Well, you know what? If you
Let's
would-
talk
if
about
you
what the
would
people
talk
understand.
plainly.
Let's talk about what they understand.
Okay, that
they
God is a
understand
man.
this book.
God's a man. We understand that from you.
Okay, then. So
How come you can't make this other part clear for us then? The part about Muhammad. Do you believe that Muhammad is the prophet today from the Quran that you're supposed to listen to?
the Holy Quran, Prophet Muhammad revealed the Quran, and Prophet Muhammad was the seal of the prophets.
Okay, I didn't get my answer. Is he your prophet today, or is Elijah Muhammad your prophet?
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad is our messenger.
Okay, who are we listening to? Can we make it like that? Who
The
we
Honorable
listening
Elijah
to?
Muhammad.
Thank you.
That's who I'm
Man,
listening
that was
to.
hard, wasn't it?
No,
You
it
could have
won't
said
hard.
that
You
from the
ain't
very
never
beginning.
asked me like that.
Well, do I have to basically weasel it out of you? You could have said that from the beginning.
No,
So now
no.
what I'm getting is
no. If
you
you'd
don't
have
listen.
distinguished between what you're trying to say, I could have been an answer.
Did anybody did you have a hard time understanding what I was saying, Bob? I asked him, do you follow Muhammad over there in Arabia, in Mecca, or do you follow Elijah Muhammad? And he beat all around the bush, and he finally came out and said, I follow Elijah Muhammad. Now, all
As a
the
messenger.
Muslims,
As a messenger.
that's his last messenger. That's what he's saying.
All right, now that's one thing I want to distinctively say. Is that the same as the Christians follow Jesus as the messenger, as the Son of God? Is that the real distinctive difference between the Quran, the Muslim faith, and the Christian faith? Whereas Jesus, you're saying, was a man and not the Son of God, where the Christians follow him as the messenger versus who you follow as a messenger? Is that not a line we can draw?
The truth of it, Jesus was not a Christian. Johnny, ain't it right?
He was the founder of the Christian
No, he
religion.
wasn't no founder of it. After they crucified Jesus in Antioch, that's in Rome, the followers of Jesus
They
was called.
crucified him
Listen,
in Antioch?
in Antioch, after they crucified him, they called the followers of
Are you getting to
Jesus
answer your question?
Christians.
See, we're going
Bob.
all around the
They
bush.
call them Christians, right? And they call themselves mocking them and calling them a bad name, right?
Why don't you just answer what he asked you? He asked you, is
So-
Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad...
So Jesus was not a Christian. Christians can't
Did
take
you ask
Jesus from us as though Jesus don't belong to
Did
us
you ask
too.
him if Jesus was a Christian?
That's
No,
the,
see,
that's
he
the
didn't
ugly
ask you
part
that.
of it. The Christians want to just hog up Jesus as though Jesus, the Muslims don't believe in Jesus, don't follow Jesus.
I'm not saying that, but you obviously have made it clear that this is who you get your message from, and I'm saying the Christians obviously get their message from the King James Version as Jesus is the messenger, as the Son of God. My question is that the distinctive difference at the line that you would draw between the two religions of you're following this individual as a messenger versus the Christian following Jesus as the messenger? Is that a distinctive line?
Well, the Christians say they followers of Jesus Christ, which I follow Jesus too.
Right. But
Here we go.
not as a follower as you do as Muhammad.
Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad teach really the same thing Jesus taught.
No way. No way. Jesus did not teach that I can't marry somebody that's black.
Well, you know what?
Did he? Did he?
The Bible told
Here we go to
Solomon
the
not
Bible.
to take a woman out of his race.
He did not.
Yes, he
Prove
did.
it. Prove it.
It's right in the
Well,
scriptures.
prove it. You go right
You know
to
what?
it.
I don't
See,
have that. I don't have that
you don't have
scripture
the Bible. That's
right
right.
up right now. But
See, what he did is he tried to come on here showing you
but
the Bible
but God told Solomon
not.
not to take a woman out of his race, and then
Where is it? Where is
Delilah, she kept on messing with him and got his secret.
Delilah, man,
Yes.
are you out of your mind?
Yes.
That's Samson.
Well, Samson. That's what I'm saying. Samson.
You're doing great.
And Samson,
great.
the
You're
strongest
doing great.
man in the world, right?
You're doing great.
And she kept on asking him his secret, and then
Why didn't you just ask
He
the question
finally
that I
told the
asked you?
secret, right?
Did Jesus tell me I
And she
can't
delivered it to
marry
her
somebody
people.
black?
But
Would you answer that question?
say what?
Did Jesus tell me I can't marry somebody black?
I don't know.
Well, did your prophet tell you that you can't marry somebody white?
Well, he ain't never told us we couldn't marry nobody white. He
All
told
right,
us
here we go.
it'd be best
I got
to have
it.
our
Now, see,
own.
I know your book.
He said
You
best
come on
for,
here
best
playing
for us
like-
to be with his
No,
own.
here we go.
Be with our
Let's
own.
just go ahead and let him listen to him. Your black skin is the best, and never try changing its color. Stay away from intermixing with
That's
your slave
right.
master children. Love yourself
I
and your
agree with
kind.
that. I
All
agree
right,
with that.
well, why didn't you just
I
answer?
said marry your own kind. Ain't
What
that's what I said? You said you got me wrong. No.
No, I had to weasel
No,
it out of you.
You ain't had to wheeze. No,
Okay,
no. See,
well, let's
Johnny,
be
you ask
clear.
questions to me. You ask me questions that ask a question directly to what you want to know.
Okay, here it is. Can you marry a white woman?
Could I? If I wanted to, I could.
What does your prophet say?
Well, he told us to stay with our own.
Okay, now Jesus did not do that. Jesus is not racist.
Well, Jesus came to his own first.
Who is his own?
It,
I'm not a Jew.
Jesus was a black man.
Am I? Well, then, I'm glad you.
Do you know that?
I'm glad you cleared that up for us. Now, how did you figure that?
You
said
I can show you
said
that in this book.
Well, go ahead.
Jesus said he the root and offspring of David, right?
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna show you something what the Bible say about.
Now, which Bible are you going to use? The
this,
one you
this,
don't believe?
This is the one you got. This
the
is
one you don't
got.
believe. Okay, well, that's good. I love that. Now,
Revelation. Let's go to Revelation. Let's go to Revelation.
Okay.
It's the 22nd chapter of Revelation. I, Jesus, has sent my angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. He said, I am the root and offspring of David and the bright and morning star. Now, for Jesus be the root and offspring of David, somebody there have to take it back to David, right? Can Mary do that?
You go ahead and make your point.
I'm asking you a question.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Can Mary take the bloodline back to David?
Let's say I say yes and no. That's what you've been doing all night. Okay, but anyway, make your point.
She can't. You know that, Johnny.
I said make your point.
You sure get amnesia when you want it.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You get amnesia like you don't know.
That Jesus is a black man. You want me to help you do it. I'm not going to do it.
Now, David was the father of Solomon, right?
We was
All
with
right, let's
Samson
go
and
to
Delilah a while ago.
Solomon.
I don't know where you at.
Let's go to Solomon.
All right, now what are you proving now? That I can
That
marry a
Jesus
black
was
woman?
black. That Jesus was a black man.
Okay, so Jesus came to his own. Now you're saying Jesus came to the black people. I thought you said that
Well,
Elijah Muhammad
you
had
know
a
what?
greater job than Jesus.
Jesus came to
the black people.
The people over in the East, right?
Okay.
Well, not in the East, really in Europe. And
Okay,
they killed him because they said they killed him, but they didn't kill him.
Okay, you're saying that Palestine is in Europe.
Now, how do you know that? How in the world do you know that?
You don't know any
know
of
what?
this. You're just
That
making
they
it up
didn't
as
kill
you
him.
go.
Because we got the true story of Jesus. And
Where'd you get it?
From Master Farad Muhammad.
The one who had to go to school
This
in
man right
the
here.
University of California?
He didn't go to no school. You know, I said he went into all the colleges.
Oh, wait a
Johnny.
minute now. Wait a minute.
All the colleges.
Look here, y'all. Now, he just said he didn't go to school. Look who I got on the screen, Malvester. I got some long lost tapes.
Sons of Solomon.
I got
Okay,
long. Why don't we?
Let's deal with this. Solomon is the son of David, right?
We've been letting
Now listen
you,
to it.
we've
He
been
said, I
letting
am
you have
black.
all the time.
He said, I am black, but come ye, O daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Canaan
You know what?
and the curtains of Solomon. So Solomon was a black man, so he the root of David. So what could Jesus be? And Mary
You know
was an Egyptian woman. Egypt is in Africa, right? So
Okay, here's what we have.
Mary was an African woman.
Here's what we have. We're
And
loving
the
it.
Pope of Rome got a black Madonna and baby in his chamber.
Okay,
Do
we're
you know
loving
that,
it.
Bob?
We're loving it.
Yes,
We're
sir.
loving it.
Yes, sir.
We're loving it. Okay, now
and
you
he
said
go and turn and to the black Madonna
Now,
and
Charles,
say
I
his
thought
little
you was
words.
running this.
Say his little words.
He's not letting me say anything.
Yeah, let Johnny speak now.
All right, now here you said Jesus came to his own people. Now,
Yeah.
who is his people? Black people. Okay, now we got you saying that Jesus came to the black people, and then you turned around and said that Elijah Muhammad had a greater, Elijah Farad Muhammad, who is actually God in the person of this man, he had a greater job than Jesus. What was his job, did you say?
His job was to resurrect the dead.
No, that's not what you said a while ago. Am I going to have to play you back?
Resurrect the dead.
What did you say a while ago?
His job was to resurrect
That's
the black
not what
man and the black woman in the hills of North
Okay, now
America.
wait a minute.
And then we the dead.
Let me talk.
What do the dead do, Johnny?
Okay, here we go.
What do the
Here we
dead
go.
do? What a
Here we
dead
go.
man
Let
do?
him
He's
finish.
not. See, I have another program. I'll be
Yeah.
coming on Sunday night, and we're gonna do this right. He said, and I'm gonna play him on Sunday night, saying that Jesus came to his own, and Jesus is a black man, and then he turns around and says Elijah Muhammad Master Farad Muhammad has a greater job than Jesus. Well, what is it, Malvester? He came to the black man. I thought you said Jesus came to the black man. Which is it?
You know what? The truth of the matter is, Johnny, Jesus was firstborn of the dead, right?
We're changing the subject.
No.
How come you don't answer the question I
I'm
just
dealing
asked
with.
you?
I'm dealing with. I'm trying to bring you where the people can
No, you're trying to
understand what you're
change the
saying.
subject.
All you're trying to do, Johnny, is confuse
You're
people.
trying to
You're not
change the
trying
subject.
to. You're not trying to
Well, can I just break it down then? Let's just break it down. Did Jesus come to the black people or not?
Jesus came to his own first.
What is he?
Huh?
Jesus was a black man after your
Yes,
own mouth.
sir.
All right, so he came to the black man.
Let me show you in
Would
Revelation.
you just answer? We don't
Go
need
ahead,
all
go
that.
ahead.
You already said
This your
Jesus
book.
came.
This your book, Johnny. You said, what did the Bible say? That's what your show is
No,
about.
I'm saying, what does Malvester say tonight?
I'm going to show you what I say.
And you know what? On Sunday night, we're going to get a good dose of what did Malvester say. Because I've been playing you for 10 years saying
I know
Jesus
that.
didn't die.
I know that.
And you did a wonderful job tonight. Let me see if I can recount. Jesus didn't die. The King James Bible is not the truth. He don't follow the Quran either because
Listen
he can't
to
read
this, John.
Arabic. And Jesus came to the black man and didn't do his job. And Master Farad Muhammad had to do a better job than Jesus. He came to the black man too.
Listen,
Now,
they're
I
talking
just
about- they're
recounted.
talking about
Did
the
I
Son of
make a
Man.
mistake?
The Son of
Would you
Man.
tell the people, did I make a mistake? Or did I recount
Johnny,
very well?
you talking confusion. You talking, you're
he
saying a
just-
lot of things, and I don't know what you're saying.
Well, I know I'm keeping
But
up with you.
I'm keeping up with what I'm talking about. I'm
Well, I'll
talking
say
about.
this. On Sunday night, I'm going to document everything I just said.
Well,
that
I know.
you have
I know
said.
you won't beat me up on that by yourself.
I'll
That's
tell you
all
what,
right.
I'll let you come on. I've been begging you for 10 years.
listen.
Here's my offer to the community right now. Malvester can come on. I was begging him to anyway. He came on this show where my hand's been tied behind my back all night. I had shorter speeches than him, and he's been basically taking over the program ever since we
Johnny,
started.
stop crying.
I'm saying I give you free time. Free time,
Stop
Malvester.
crying, Johnny.
Are we going to have to wait another 10 years?
Listen.
I'm saying, will you tell the community tonight?
This is a description
Will you
of
tell the
Jesus.
community tonight before we go off?
This is a description of Jesus.
Are you coming on Sunday night?
His
so I don't beat you
head
up?
and his hair was white like wool. And I got woolly hair, Johnny.
Okay, Charles. has
Okay,
got, kinda curly hair too.
woolly.
Does that mean he's a black
White
man?
as snow, and his eyes was as flames of fire, and his feet like unto fine brass. Look at that, that's brassy right there,
You
Johnny.
know what?
Listen,
if you
listen,
want to
listen.
convince me that Jesus is a
And-
black man, that's fine.
And,
Because all you're doing
and
is
as they
your own
burn in a
doctrine.
furnace, Johnny.
Good.
Listen at that.
Okay.
Now, you don't believe in your own book?
Okay, now who's going to deliver me? Please tell me.
You know what?
What? Who's going to deliver me? Oh, now remember, I got your book.
Okay.
What are we? What are we?
Gentiles.
Oh, no, come on now. What does Elijah Muhammad say we really are?
You are the Gentiles.
No, come on now. I'm fixing to read it. What does Elijah Muhammad say we really are?
You tell me what he said.
We're the devil.
Okay, then.
Are we? Are we?
All right, I'm going to show
No,
you something.
go ahead. No.
I'm going to show you something.
Break it down.
I'm going
This
to show
is
you
your
something.
chance
I'm
to
going
break
to
it
let
down.
you answer that. Give me that book over there without sanctions. I'm going to let you answer that. What
All
is
right,
you?
We don't need my answer.
What is,
we got
what
your
is,
man.
what is, what have you and your people have done to us since we've been in the hills of North America?
All right, here we go. Now, Jesus didn't give me a chance either because he was a black man. See, I tell you what, the white folk don't have a chance in the nation of Islam. Jesus was a black man, came to his own.
Look at that, Johnny.
Okay.
Who would do something like that?
You know what?
I'm asking you a question. Who would do something like that?
You know what, Malvester? Now, see
Hang
what
a
he's
man
doing?
up like that.
See what he's doing?
Hang a man up there. Who would do something like that, Bob?
Someone's got a lot of hatred.
A devil, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
evil.
then.
Thank
so,
you.
so Johnny,
Thank
you
All
asked me
white
a
men
question.
are devils.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Who would do that?
Yeah.
Are we going to take any
I ain't
calls?
say all of them
yeah.
was, but
You know
the
what?
ones that did stuff like this,
You know what?
They devils
ever
shut
since
straight
I
up.
have been in Virginia, I've planned for my son to marry one of the
Look
black
at that,
members'
look at that,
daughters in the
look at that.
congregation where I am.
who would do that?
Did you hear me, Malvester?
Somebody evil.
See, Malvester,
A
he's
devil.
trying to, he is
Look
actually
at that. Look at that.
trying.
Black
Well,
man
I
after
know,
black
but through
man.
time-
Black man after black man.
The white man's been.
Look at that. Look at that. Just killed
The
a black
white
man for
man-
no reason.
the white man
And,
has been
did he lie? Did he lie?
Did your man lie when he said a white man's a devil?
Did he lie? I mean, from this book, looking at this book.
Who is that book? Now, I played
Without
Malcolm
sanction.
X.
Without
I
sanction. That's
played
his
Malcolm
book.
X out of his own mouth saying, you all killed him because he exposed your prophet. And
Johnny,
you said, we ain't
I
going to take that.
won't
That's
even
already been
address
handled.
that stuff you saying, Johnny, because it don't make
Hold
sense.
on, caller. We'll give you a chance in a
Look
second.
at that.
We're going
Look
to
at
take a
that.
break.
That's what
Now,
Malvester
you
is
tell
up
me,
to.
Stay with us. Let me see it.
This is
bro.
a black man's religion, and you're basically trying to have a black man
I knew
take
you was
over.
gonna come up with that because you know what? Now.
Did I come up with it, or did your
the-
man?
No, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught the truth,
About what?
and he said that because he taught with light with darkness in it. He had to teach the black man the little darkness, and he had to teach the white man light because the white man was being such a devil. So he told him there was a devil.
Forever?
Listen,
You talking about white
Johnny.
men have
Well,
been that way forever?
Let me explain this. Ever since we've been in the hills of North America, he was doing that to us, and so he told him that there was a devil. And when he said that, that caused a reaction. It made him do better.
Made who do better?
The white man. So he lightened up off us a little bit.
But we're still devils, so what's the difference?
Well, you know what?
Okay,
A devil,
can we play his
you
prophet?
can't be a devil unless you do a
Can
deed
we
of
play
a
his
devil.
prophet? My master, you've never seen me do anything like you saw in that
Well,
book.
I ain't call you no devil.
I just asked you who's going to deliver me.
That's
how we got into this
I was
discussion.
getting ready to tell you that Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan going go to the. You know, Jonah had to go to Nineveh, and Jonah didn't like the Ninevites.
We got to take a break, folks.
Jonah,
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
I'm your little.
My goodness. Let's see. Where were we? Let's take his call. We might get a call later tonight. Good evening.
Yes, Bob.
Yes.
I've been in a Christian home, Baptist, for 43 years. And the
got
only
a question?
thing that the Bible says is a man not to take another man as his partner, or another woman taking another woman as his partner. And as far as anybody knowing what color Jesus is, they don't know. He could be.
All right. We're not asking for your opinion. We want
Thank
your questions.
you.
Good
I'm
evening.
glad y'all are running the show.
How you doing, Bob?
Good. What's your question?
I have a question for Johnny Roberts.
Lay it on him.
Did you just say that you don't teach tithes and offerings? Did you say you don't do that?
Man, where have you been?
No,
I'm fixing to put stickers on cars that says, say no to tithes.
Yeah. That's the answer to that question. Good evening. Got a question?
Yes, hold on.
Can't hold long, honey. We're on live TV. Time is precious.
Hello?
Go ahead.
I was just listening to the debate, and my question to both of them was, let me see, are we still on here? Because I'm in the kitchen.
Yeah, we're still here.
My question to both of them was, I'm hearing that both of them are acknowledging God is God. And, you know, none of them are saying that God is not the creator, right?
Right.
No.
God is the creator.
No. He's saying Master Farad Muhammad is God. I'm saying that the God.
No.
Well,
I'm
who
not
did
saying.
create
See,
the
Johnny,
earth?
let me talk for myself. You talk for you.
Okay, well, just tell us who created the earth then, and I'm going to read out your book after you get through.
The Creator created the heavens
is
and the
it?
earth. God Almighty.
And who is it?
Master Farad Muhammad was
Thank
born.
you.
Wait a minute, listen. I said Master Farad Muhammad was born in 1877, so he couldn't have been the one that created the heaven and the
Did
earth.
your prophet say he's going to
I
create?
said he came in the person of Master Farad
And
Muhammad.
what's he gonna do?
You said that Jesus came in the person of God, so what's the problem?
I
You know,
got
the
it.
problem is, Johnny, that you
He
are
says that
trying
Master
to make
Farad
some out of
Muhammad
nothing.
is going to create another earth greater than the one
No,
that Yaqub created.
that's not what I said, or that's not what he said.
Okay, did Yaqub create the first one?
Create what?
The first earth, 66
No,
trillion years ago?
no,
Well, who
no,
did it?
no,
66
no,
trillion years
no.
ago. Who did that?
Yaqub is the one that made the man, created man in his image and his likeness. If you go into
What
Genesis,
does it say right here? Who is
the
Yaqub?
Genesis.
Here is it right here?
Wait a minute,
God.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. Let's go to Genesis.
That's the book you don't
Right
believe,
here.
remember?
Where Genesis dealing with, he said, and God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish, the fowl.
Is that Allah?
Everything from
that
no,
Yaqub?
this is Yaqub.
Okay,
And
thank
then
you.
listen.
Thank you.
Then go down
Yaqub is
to
the
the
one who made
27th
us,
verse.
the devil.
Johnny,
Just in case
I'll
y'all
let
don't
you
wanna
talk,
know.
and then you let me talk.
Oh, you hadn't let me talk. Don't even
ahead.
go there. You
Go
have
ahead.
not let
Go
me
ahead.
talk. All right, let's read it out of his book. The entire creation of Allah God is of peace, not including the devils, who are not the creation of Allah God, but a race created by the enemy Yaqub of Allah. Yaqub rebelled against Allah and the righteous people and was cast out of the homes of the righteous into the worst part of the planet to live their way of life until the fixed day for their doom. Now, you already said, and I got it on tape while we was on break, that we was made devils. It's not our own fault, and we headed for doom, and Jesus is a black man, so
But
we
you
don't
can
have a
change.
deliverer.
You can change, Johnny.
What do I have to change into?
All you got to do is change and submit to God.
Submit which God?
To the true and living God.
Okay,
it ain't
where
but
am I
one
going to
God.
find his word? Is it here or is it in the Quran?
It ain't but one God.
Where's his word?
The truth, some truth is in this book, and the truth is in the Quran, and the truth is in that book right there.
Okay, so now I got it straight. I got to have the Quran, the message to the black man, and the Bible. Which
you
Bible?
know what? You should have all the books of God.
Oh, this is the book of God?
Everything that come out from the Nation of Islam is books of God.
Well, this one contradicts this one.
No, it don't.
Well, it doesn't say that the world was created 66 trillion years ago.
Oh, the earth was created. See, this book only covers 6 days.
Oh.
Wait a minute, 6 days and the 7th day is your rest.
And this book covers 66 trillion.
And go back further than that.
Really? Who's the man now?
Master Farad Muhammad.
That went to University of California to find all this
Wait a
stuff
minute.
out?
See, you saying something I didn't say. I didn't say he went to University
But
of
see,
California. I said he
you're
went
not
into
the
all the
authority.
colleges. I said he went into all the colleges and studied.
But
right?
see, Malvester,
he know
you're
y'all
not the authority.
secret.
I
y'all
read
secrets.
your book.
He
It
know y'all
says he was at
secret.
the University of California. That's
Well,
what your book says.
You know what? If that book say that,
then it's true.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, right.
Okay.
It's true. But what I'm saying is that he said he went and studied in all the universities.
In 20 years?
He was coming in and out for 20 years.
You
before
mean to
they
tell
made
me
themselves
that you
known.
can study in every educational system in the world in 20 years?
And he spoke 16 different languages.
I heard that too. Okay,
and mastered.
let's just get the community in on this so y'all can judge. This man in 20 years now, the PhD program
he studied
today.
for 64 years to come to get us.
Now wait a minute. I thought it was 20 years.
No, he studied 64 years before he came to get us.
This book says 40 years.
Well, you know what? I know what I'm talking about. The book don't say that.
Okay.
The book don't say that.
All right. Well, Malcolm X said that the Nation of Islam was trying to kill him. I don't care what Malcolm X said.
You know what? You can try to use same thing George Bush used, field tactics on people. People are above that. I don't even have to address that.
All right, caller.
We way above that.
Hello.
I have a question for Malvester.
Yes, sir.
Who is selling slaves in the Sudan? White man or black man?
If you watch and see the hidden hand, and you will see why they are doing it, because Sudan, the draw.
Forget it. He ain't gonna answer straight.
Let me.
Second question is, so you're not gonna answer. The second question is, what is the national religion? Islam, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Islam and black people, black Islamic people are selling black people.
Thank you.
Well, listen. Black folks in America selling one another too. So what's the big deal about that? The point is that you got to look at the hidden hand. You got to look at the hidden hand. The hidden hand is that therefore got the biggest body of oil. It's bigger than Saudi Arabia, and so the greedy people of the world, Europe and America, and now China is in the ball, and they trying to get that money. So what they do, they cause confusion, make them fight among themselves. Then they go in as peacekeepers and take the oil under their feet. I mean, they've been doing this for years. That's why we're in Iraq now. That's why we're in Iraq now. So yes, it's black people killing one another. But you know what? Look here. In the streets of America, over 30,000 people was killed last year. Black people. I
don't blame you.
And why is we killing one another? Because of drugs and guns in our community. You put drugs and guns in a community among people that's not qualified to deal with that, then what you gonna get? Nothing but death.
So
we die more in America than we do in the wars.
Now I thought you said a while ago that Elijah Muhammad had cured that. Weren't you talking?
No.
Well, what did you say?
And lay down. Daytime custody now. Lights off.
You got a question?
That's a good
I
parent.
can show you something, Johnny. The drug dealers can't go to the mosque and sell drugs, but they can sit in the church, in front of the church, and sell it all day.
That's what you said.
But that's what's going on.
You don't. We can't prove that they don't sell them at the mosque.
No, I know that they don't.
No, you don't.
I know that.
You don't even have a mosque here.
All right, put your kids to
I
bed.
know that.
Hello, caller. You got to speak up now if you're going to talk. We're limited on time here. What's your question? Hello.
But Johnny, let's get back to this made man and his created
Hello,
man.
caller.
Listen to this. So God created man in his own image. Yes, sir.
Somebody's trying to ask you a question.
Now, Lester,
Yes,
you
sir.
letting this guy confuse you, man. You letting him confuse you.
What's your question?
Malcolm X was
I appreciate that.
Good
He's
evening.
telling how he feels about the
this
debate.
question. We're
That's
just
good.
asking questions. You got a question?
Malvester.
Let's get a
Yes.
question. We got enough preaching going on up here.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello? Yes, I believe that the black man.
Man, we're not asking your belief. What's your question? You got a question?
I was getting ready to ask him a question about.
Okay, ask your question. Hello? Do you have a question?
Yes, I have a question for Malvester.
Go ahead.
So, Malvester, what do you think that we should do as black people right now with the way things are with the economy?
I think that we should organize and pool our resources together and do something for ourselves. Because as God take this country down, he taking it down for us to get loose, like he did with Pharaoh. And if you read the scripture said that it'll come a time like the time of Noah, and it would be things will be going on like the same time of Noah. If you look at this, The
Man,
weather
you really
been
need
hidden.
to get loose, don't you?
The
Obama's
weather
fixing
been
to be
hidden.
president, and the black man can't get loose.
The weather been hidden. The
My
bread
master, where you
basket
been?
in Iowa and
You
Nebraska
fixing
and
to have
all
a
of
black
that
man
is the
be
bread
the leader
basket, right?
of the nation, and you still can't get loose.
And the bread basket.
Did you hear me?
If
Did you hear me, Malvester? You want to address that?
Johnny,
You talked over me.
She asked me a question.
And I'm telling you and her that a black man's fixing to be president of the United States, and you still need to get loose.
You know what?
You know what you're doing is you're trying to keep us back there where we were, which we're trying to get over, and a black man's fixing to be the leader of this world.
The scripture said the stone that the builders rejected
That was
is becoming
Jesus.
the headstone of the corner. So
Who's
Obama is that stone that was rejected, and then he becoming the
You know
headstone
what?
of this
The only
country.
problem you got is Louis Farrakhan's not going to be president.
You got to know that. But
So
Barack Obama can save this country.
Okay, now I thought you
Yes,
said we weren't
yes.
going to get loose. You said we're fixing to bring us down, and you got a black man fixing to be at the top. That's a good time to bring us down.
He can save this country because the Middle East is
So is
getting
that
ready
your
to boil
prophecy?
over.
Is that your prophecy? That America's fixing to go down with a black man at the head?
I wanted to address what the sister was saying, John. You won't let me do that.
I'll let you do it tomorrow night. Sunday night.
No, see.
I'll let you do it Sunday night. And see, you won't even have to address me at all. We'll have fair time, not like we did tonight where I had to give you extra time.
See.
And we have it on tape. You was fixing to leave out of here if you didn't get your way. We have it all on. We videoed ourselves. Wasn't you fixing to leave out of here if you didn't get your own way?
See, Johnny,
Is that true?
You're just saying a whole lot of
Okay,
stuff.
we're going to play it on Sunday night. Now, the community needs to listen. Malvester was fixing to leave out of here unless he got his own way. He tried to hold us hostage here. We got it on video. I'm offering him free time. He can have those. You can have those 6 or those 4 10-minute segments, Malvester. I won't interrupt you. I'll be fair to you. Then we'll talk.
Well, do it now then.
No, you tried to hold us hostage here. We couldn't do it.
I'll let you talk.
Who had the longest speeches, me or you?
Okay. Let me have. You got 4 minutes. Let me have a couple of minutes. Then you have a couple of minutes.
2 minutes space. Let's close.
The thing is, I can see a change coming. What the sister was asking, what should we do? I see a change. I'm working with ministers in Danville, and as long as we got ministers like Bishop Dillard, he was talking against him, Reverend Tyler, Bishop Kellum, and Reverend Roy, and Reverend Hagwood. You know what? I love the church. Johnny, you shouldn't be beating on our brothers. Our brothers reading the scriptures.
These guys are riding the backs of poor
Johnny,
people, and I'm proving it.
See, that's not
You
fair.
address me. Don't address me and then don't tell me not to talk.
And then down
haven't taken over the
Reverend
world yet.
Avon King and Reverend Booker George and Reverend Griffin and Reverend Lindley and Pastor Campbell and Reverend Stewart.
Apostle worldwide,
these
ride the back of the
these
people,
men
Campbell.
is doing some great work. It would not be for them. Our people wouldn't have nothing. They wouldn't have nothing to go to. You know what? The thing that you talk about denomination, that don't even matter.
Now, here we got Campbell. Let's talk about
suit's
Campbell.
got a label on it, and yours got a label on it, but that don't make you who you are.
Listen,
what make us who we are
has a
is
$1 million
how we act.
house and a
How we act.
$300,000 car, and his son now's got a $2 million house, and Malvester's saying, we wouldn't have nothing if it wasn't for the Campbells. The Campbells got it all, man. They riding the backs of these poor people, and you're supporting them. I'm glad you're
But
on
the people
record.
love him, though, John.
I know they do.
All
They
right,
love
then.
a tyrant. It's
People-
that way all the time.
People love
And
him.
you know what?
You know what? If they love him, then what you have to do with it?
Now, this is the Nation of Islam. I can't even get them to verify that you're with them.
And I'm trying to find out if he is
They
actually
don't tell
still
you nothing.
recognized
They ain't telling you nothing either.
Don't worry about that. I'm all right.
Malvester Dixon.
But
No, Malvester.
This is the editor of Final Call.
so what that mean?
We'll see. Listen to it.
Well, we're just kind of having a general 2-hour discussion tonight on WGSR TV, and my intention is really to demonstrate that the Church of Christ, of which I'm a member, is saying the same thing that he's saying in regard to Christianity of today, that it's basically useless in regard to bringing about changed minds towards the relationship between black and white. But I'm going to demonstrate that Jesus is the answer and not Allah.
Let's see what she said.
Oh, okay. And your name, sir? Johnny Robertson. The reason that I'm calling is Malvester has had some difficulties in the past. He was actually arrested and accused, he and his bodyguard Rick.
Was you arrested, John? Was you
I
arrested?
think
You done been, but you was arrested for something you did,
I didn't
once you?
speak bad about you. Just
But the point is, I don't go around telling people that you was arrested.
exonerated. Just listen.
That ain't the point. The point is, you should have, you should be a man of better standards and principles than that.
And I'm just trying to verify if he still is in good standing. I'm going to check into that as well. And your number, Mr. Robinson? It is 276
Well,
806.
don't look like she's telling you nothing.
She didn't call me back either. Are you telling me tonight that you?
The nation is not going to answer you, Johnny.
Oh, will they answer you? Can you prove to this community that you
I'm
represent
not
the
going to
Nation of
prove
Islam?
nothing to you.
I wouldn't either if I could.
Okay, then. I don't have to prove nothing
I know
to
you don't.
All
But
right,
you could.
then.
You could. So do you really
I
represent
don't
the
have
Nation
to
of Islam?
prove. You know, no, I'm not a local representative of
Well,
the Nation of
thank you.
Islam.
So see what
I
we
didn't
have
say I
here is
were.
we have a farce.
I were before what happened
This
to me.
whole thing is a farce. He doesn't even represent the Nation of
Listen to
Islam.
that.
You just admitted
listen
it.
to that. When I
admitted
talk to you, I made that promise to you, then I were. But
Why didn't you tell us tonight that you weren't?
You didn't ask me.
So you just went on and let the community think that you
No,
represent
I
the
don't
Nation
let
of
them
Islam?
think nothing. What did I say? What did I come up here and introduce myself as anything other than Malvas? So what you talking about, John?
I'm just basically making it clear.
You're trying to use your sneaky. You just like a serpent.
Okay,
You crawl up
I'm
and make
sneaky.
a crooked turn.
I'm sneaky
you
because
know,
I exposed that you're
but
not
you
even
know
with the
what?
Nation of Islam anymore.
Who told you that?
You just did.
No, I ain't told you that.
You just said
See,
you
that,
didn't
now
represent.
you putting words in my mouth.
You know what? I'm also putting them on tape.
I say I'm not
I'm putting
the
them on tape.
representative.
Thank you. That's what I mean. You don't represent the Nation of Islam anymore, and these are not the fruit of Islam either.
That's what you say.
You tell us if they are then.
I'm not going to tell you no.
I wouldn't either if I could.
Because I didn't come up here for that. I come up here to debate you for this.
You come up here to represent the Nation of Islam, of which you're not a representative anymore.
I am a member of the Nation of Islam.
Okay.
And
so who is the representative? I'd like to debate the representative.
Brother Kevin Dalton from Ridgeway.
Will he meet me?
I don't know.
We'll send him a DVD of this and see.
You can look in the phone book and find his name.
Well, see, I didn't know. See, I was under the impression, you let me have the impression that you were still the representative.
I ain't gave you no kind of impression.
Well, you sure didn't clear it up.
Well, why you didn't ask me?
I was planning on asking.
And when you
see,
brought me,
I actually brought it up when I got ready.
And when you brought me on the TV, you introduced me as Mavessa Dixon. That's where you've been introducing me all the week. That's where you've been introducing me all the week, Mavessa Dixon.
Okay, you said that didn't bother you.
Okay, no, it don't. It don't
okay.
bother me.
Haven't I been trying to correct it? I've been trying to say
you know what?
Muhammad.
It don't make no difference.
All right, what are you bringing it up for?
Because
I caught you acting like you're the representative of the Nation of Islam.
No, I ain't never tried to do that. I ain't never said that. That's you saying that, Johnny. Whatever you want to say, Johnny, you say it.
Mm-hmm. I wonder.
That don't make it true, though.
Okay.
Stop
we got the truth.
Stop
you come on out and told it.
Stop speaking with a forked tongue, Johnny.
We got out and we got the truth. Now, for the community now, for y'all to know, this man doesn't represent, he's not the representative of the Nation of Islam
I ain't never
anymore.
say I were.
Okay, thank you.
All right, folks, we got to wrap it up. Hey, thank y'all for coming, and I'm sure we'll have another chance. And,
real quickly, do both parties feel like they've been able to say what you want to say?
I definitely do, even though I had to take shorter speeches.
Well, you know what? I said some of the stuff, but Johnny, he won't give me the time. Like that young lady, she was serious, and I should have been able to address that. You know, and you should have.
We should have the true representative represented. Answer her. And ma'am, you heard his name is Dawes, did you say? If you want to get in touch with the true representative of the Nation of Islam, this is not the man.
All right. Jonathan's been trying to can you just walk away and give him 2 minutes to finish?
Yeah, sure.
Take your mic off.
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 minutes. I want to make sure you have 2 minutes.
I'll give
you
2 hours.
You leave your mic on.
No.
I'll give you 2 minutes to have the last word.
Oh, I would like to kind of address what that young lady was saying. We need to, as black people, we need to come together and we need to organize and mobilize so that we can be able to get a net where we can save our people, because hard times coming. As the tornadoes hitting in the Midwest, where and our in Nebraska and all them areas they call the bread basket, right? And as the water floods, then food will be shortage. And if you look, the gas going up, the trucks, as the trucks, the fuel go up, then the food don't go high in the grocery store. People don't get hungry, and somebody need to sound the alarm. And we, not only black folk, all people will suffer in these few days that's coming up, because God is angry, and and if you understand God's wrath, God's wrath is what you see from the tornadoes, but chastisement is what he going to do to black people. God going to chastise us because we don't want to obey. We, just like Israel, we kept on being hard-headed and stiff-necked. We got to submit. And if we submit, God will deliver us. And we got books. We need to read our books and be true to who we say we are. And I like to say, I appreciate the time, and may peace be with you, and assalamu alaikum.
Good evening. Have a good night.